Hello, we are going to talk about some things that have happened recently, and some of them are, well, one of them that we're going to talk about is local to my home in Seattle, and the rest we'll be talking about something that you've probably heard online already, but some of them I'm just kind of, talking about it now. Let's just start with the thing that's local, and this is like one of the oldest news here. There was an OnlyFans house in Bellevue that got raided. Basically, there's this 21-year-old named Nikita. I don't know how to say his last name. Tulako. He was leading a sex trafficking in his OnlyFans house to have young women do OnlyFans with him. He is charged with 4 counts of second-degree human trafficking, money laundering, and leading organized crime. He is currently being held on a $5 million bail. Now, the police were able to find that there were a lot of electronic devices that were used to make content. There were financial documents involved. Like, this was a pretty legit sketchy business. There were cashier checks, business records. He even had like a whole content plan laid out. I don't want to know exactly what that content plan was because there were also sex toys involved too, and two like McLarens, or one of them was a McLaren. But this was a legitimate like pimping business that he was able to have. I don't know how many minors were involved. I don't think they were going to show too much of the from like who obviously like they're going to protect the victims of this scheme here, but it is disgusting. And this happened in Bellevue. This is like I thought this is the kind of stuff that would happen in like Cali or New York or Florida, but no, this is a I mean we're no stranger to sex trafficking, unfortunately, because in Seattle, that's like where a lot of sex trafficking happens. There's also a lot of like hookers, in Aurora Avenue. Like it's like anything just in that field, we are there's just no regulation on it. But this was reported by neighbors because there were parties being held at the OnlyFans house and people would not shut the heck up. And the people who attended the house were mainly high school minors. I'm gonna assume that there were probably some adults involved too, other than just the owner himself, because apparently that wasn't the only house that was involved with all this OnlyFans stuff. There were 5 other properties that were linked to this operation. Some of them were like waterfront homes, apartments, and like rental units in Bellevue and Renton. There was also some abuse and violence that happened during these like houses here, which of course that is what makes them freaking strapped to this OnlyFans stuff, because there were also NDAs being signed and all of that. Victims have already come out and talked about what was going on. There were people who he attempted to reach out, but they never reciprocated or responded back to it. But they were also reporting what they were talking about. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's just kind of all there is to talk about that. And something that you guys have recently heard, this was like the most recent news that happened. Oliver Tree. I don't know the guy much, but his songs are something that you would hear on TikTok. They were really famous. Like one of them was Life Goes On and On and On. And there was that other song. It's like it's associated with like those like brain rot American Psycho Sigma TikToks. Don't fret. I think that was like one of the lyrics. He died in a helicopter collision with 5 other people in Brazil. And apparently, this was also causing some legal scrutiny, in which apparently the helicopter lacked authorization for commercial passenger transport. They're still investigating this currently as we speak, but it seems that there were some maintenance issues that were probably ignored, but we're not too sure yet, or at least from what this article is saying, we don't know too much about. But sucks that he died. I really do hope that people also consider the 5 other people that died with him. Otherwise, it's going to cause another Kobe Bryant situation, because this is probably this was similar to where not only him and his daughter died, but there were like 7 others who were died too, but no one like gave a rip about them because they're not Kobe. Like, I mean, obviously that makes sense, but there was a lot of backlash involving his death. People were just like, why do you guys care about Kobe? Care about the others too, the people that you don't know. And while there is some, like, I get why they were upset, I also think it was stupid to say, like, frick Kobe, care about us instead. Like, that's just a bit selfish. But again, I understand. It would seem, really hurtful that your loved ones are overlooked, like their death is overlooked because everyone is too busy looking at two people who are, you know, deeply loved and whatnot. Like, I understand that, but I just think it's a bit selfish to say, you know, stop caring about just Kobe. Like, people should still care, but people should also acknowledge the death of other people. So I'm really hoping that this happens in this case, because I don't think Oliver Tree was that popular. I don't think anyone even knew him until his death was brought up. They probably went like, oh, that guy. But I don't know if people are really personally affected by this. But if you are, you know, I'm sorry to you, and I'm sorry to all the people who their loved ones died in this helicopter crash as well. But that's not the only death we're talking about. Where someone who also died recently was executive producer for Love Island USA, James Barker. He died at age 40, and it happened after an unexpected medical emergency in Fiji, where season 8 of the reality series is currently filming. As of now, ITV America and Peacock, I'm assuming those are the shows that are, you know, hosting the Love Island show or whatever. They've just kind of released a legacy statement, but I don't think there's any much info on what has exactly caused his death. I think that stuff is, you know, should be kept personal, but if they do, you know, release anything about what exactly happened, then, you know, we'll probably get that soon. Something definitely wrong happened, and I don't know if this is involved with the studio or like the set that happened. Like, was it an incident like that? Is it like one of those like Alec Baldwin, you know, situation where, you know, a gun went off? Like, we don't know. There's not too much information, or at least what I can't find about it. We still don't know what exactly happened, but point is, it's tragic. Oh yes, there was another thing that happened that is local in Seattle. There was a Seattle University graduation ceremony, and one of the students here was holding a Palestinian flag. Palestine. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but one of the Seattle University provost, Shane P. Martin, legit like snatched the flag out of her as she was walking through, and then he was like, yeah, let me just take that and let's take a photo real quick. Yeah, this is nothing bad happened. And like, here, I'll show you the clip. It's pretty obnoxious and stupid.
Cum laude, Avery Fung Suzuki Malcolm.
She's trying to go down and take it back, and he's grabbing her arm again and snatching the flag again.
Sophia Call, summa cum laude.
Finally, she just yanks her arm back, and she waves it as she's walking off.
This clip now seen more than 1 million times on Instagram and TikTok. For graduates of Seattle University, this will be one of their last memories of their time on campus.
In front of friends, in front of family, a bunch of people in a stadium being manhandled like that, that's degrading for her as a human being. So she should receive an apology directly from the provost.
Now, I know that there has been, you know, the Israel and Palestine like thing going on. I'm not too sure. It's been a while since I've, you know, been politically updated with that kind of stuff, but there's already like comments about them supporting the provost. I don't know how to freaking say it. The dude's actions of snatching the flag, saying, yeah, she should know better. In fact, take away her diploma. Oh, I support his actions. Brother, like, she's just holding a flag. I don't know what that's like, how is that? Like, there's no, you know, message of her saying, you know, supporting war or supporting genocide or supporting, you know, anything like controversial. It is just her holding a flag, I'm assuming representing her ethnicity or her culture. Like, why? I don't see why that would be a problem. But you know what was a worse situation than that, though? So, this happened after the Knicks championship, after they won. And you would think that people in New York would be a little more civilized, because if the Knicks were to lose, riots would go on. But it seems like if they were to win, riots would still go on. And it was bad. There were school buses set on fire. There was a teenager who got shot. And there were obviously dozens of arrests for the vandalism that occurred here. And if you were walking in New York with a Spurs jersey on, you would be chased after. You would get, oh my God, it would be bad. This alone convinces me to never move to New York. Or at least if there was an NBA championship going on with the Knicks, I would go on a vacation, go on a hiatus somewhere else, and then come back. And wherever I have to live, it would definitely be in an apartment out of the reach of people's hands, because it seems like it was just like cars and like, you know, ground level area being vandalized. But I think the teenager is still alive though. They got shot in the foot, so I hope that's all it was, just shot in the foot. I hope they can walk after that. But that is all the things, the crazy things that have happened lately, and I thought I might as well just, you know, bring that up. And man, we're already halfway through the year, and like this is like the few of the many crazy things that have happened in the past year, but this was like kind of the more recent stuff that I just wanted to kind of address. But hopefully things get a little better here on out. That's all I gotta say. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.